Hello, my name is John Baird and I'm Canada's Minister of Foreign Affairs. I'm delighted to speak with you in this video message to congratulate the YaLa young leaders on the third anniversary of the fastest growing Middle East peace movement. Canadians are inspired by your efforts in empowering young Middle Easterners and leading your generation to a better future. Your work using the power of social media is truly remarkable. You are helping to break down boundaries, foster dialogue, and ignite momentum for change across the Middle East and North Africa. I would also like to welcome your campaign in support of a peace agreement, including the two-state solution. Canada believes strongly in a two-state solution, one that sees a future Palestinian state and a Jewish state living side by side in peace and security. Like you, Canadians are looking to both parties to redouble their efforts in achieving this end. I wish you all the very best of luck during this online conference and in your ongoing efforts to build a peaceful future. Thank you.
It's my honor to be addressing YaLa's third annual online peace conference. My name is Zinat Rahman, and I'm Secretary Kerry's Special Advisor for Global Youth Issues. My position was created because the United States realizes that we can't solve some of our most complex challenges around the world without including young people. And this is especially true in the Middle East. As President Obama noted in his March 2013 speech in Israel, your voices must be louder than those who would drown them out. Your hopes must light the way forward. This was his call to action to include the voices of young people in the peace process. And YaLa is one of the best examples of this, as your Facebook-based movement has become one of the fastest growing regional change movements today. So by being part of YaLa, each and every one of you is changing the narrative of young people. This is your moment to lead your communities and the world forward on one of the most important challenges of our time. This generation of young people is the largest that the world has ever known. More than half of the world's population is under the age of 30, and you are remarkable, optimistic, innovative, creative, and impatient. So keep up the great work, and let me congratulate you on the third year of this peace conference. I wish each and every single one of you success in your efforts in imagining a better world.
Dear young leaders, when I celebrated my 20th birthday in Switzerland, I believed that I would have the opportunity for a good future. It was more than 30 years ago. When I'm traveling in the Middle East and North Africa region, I feel that many young people don't have this feeling today. Young people, also in Europe, are looking for a job, for dignity, for peace and social justice. The YaLa Young Leader movement expresses this desire of young people. I sympathize very much with you and understand that you are sick and tired of conflict and would like to have a normal life with freedom, education, employment and prosperity. Recently, I participated in a conference of European writers in Berlin on the theme Europe, Dream Reality. One writer wrote, Europe, maybe that's the biggest dream, a continent reconciled with itself, because every citizen of every village, in every province, in every country, has made peace with itself and its history, and tell it in its own language. Is that also your dream? But where to start to make such a dream reality? Victor Hugo said, there is nothing more powerful than an idea who comes at the right time. For your third annual peace conference, I wish that you express your dreams and develop new ideas for peace, for excellent education and for creating jobs in the region, and how that should be done. Recently, the Swiss President Didier Burkhalter said at the conference about the conflict between generations. We have to listen to the young generation. The Swiss Foreign Ministry is very much interested to listen to you and to discuss the results of this conference with a committee of YaLa leaders. When can we do it? Best wishes from Wolfgang Amadeus Brühlhardt, Bern, Switzerland.
Thank you, Uri Savir, the Perez Center, and all of you who are participating in the YaLa Online Peace Conference. I am so delighted to add my voice to those who are working for peace. This is an important time in the Middle East and an important crossroad for those who are interested and care deeply about the peace process. I served as Undersecretary of State for Public Diplomacy and Public Affairs. I understand the power of media, the power of publics, and the power of people to change lives and transform situations. I know if we work together and if we utilize social media, online platforms, digital diplomacy, and all the tools we have in our toolbox, we can push the peace process forward. I believe deeply in the power of young people, you, the YaLa organization, and all of you who give your thoughts, your time, and your actions. I wish you well on the conference, and I hope I can continue to add strength and vision to your work. Good luck.
I'm really pleased to be able to once again offer a welcome and an endorsement of what YaLa is doing. I can think of a few groups who, first of all, have 453,000 or 400, nearly 500,000 members signed up, who are committed to trying to change the landscape of the Middle East. I can also think of almost no time where what you're doing has become more important. The formal efforts at peacemaking, once again, are faltering. Oftentimes we see that it becomes harder for leaders to take a leap unless they see that the political landscape, the grassroots, the realities of younger people are creating what is a different circumstance. And I think precisely because the formal efforts at peace are proving so difficult to make, it becomes even more critical for the efforts of what YaLa is doing. Not only do you create connections between peoples, but you show that trying to demonize as a way of ensuring that conflict never ends isn't the path. You show that it's possible to create a human connection. You demonstrate through the online university that there are multiple ways to create ties throughout the region and to build on not just new technologies, but to try to transform this region which has lagged behind the rest of the world. So I applaud what YaLa is doing. I hope that you move from success to success, from strength to strength, and I look forward again to watching as you make progress and to taking pride in watching your achievements take on a life of their own. And I only wish you continued success and increasing success. Thank you.
Hello, YaLa. My name is Macon Phillips, and I'm proud to join you from the U.S. State Department. Thank you so much for the opportunity to talk to you very briefly about the important work that you're doing. Congratulations on 3 years of YaLa and the 3rd annual online peace conference. It's an honor to be here today. The work you do is incredibly important. As someone who has been working with President Obama and Secretary Kerry, first on the President's 2008 presidential campaign, and then over the last few years at the White House, and now at the State Department, I've seen firsthand how networks like yours are literally changing the world. After all, we're seeing all sorts of new technologies, but at the end of the day, it takes old-fashioned relationships, old-fashioned work, the work that you're doing every day to take advantage of this new technology, to make the world a smaller place, to make it more interconnected, to make it more peaceful. And of course, important area for this kind of work is in the Middle East. It's an area that has been important to the United States, continues to be important to the United States. It's why this administration has been and will continue to be fighting for a fair and just peace for the Israeli and Palestinian people. But of course, we're just one actor in this space, and you represent thousands. So keep it up, keep the pressure up, keep the dialogue going, whether it's at the government to government, organization to organization, or people to people level. Relationships and dialogue. That's what's going to move us forward. You're the ones helping build those connections and actually achieving real progress across those connections. So on behalf of all of us here at the State Department, trying to build these relationships, trying to explore the opportunities with new technology, keep up the great work. Thank you so much for your dedication, and we really look forward to working with you over the coming year.
Hi, I'm Aaron David Miller, Vice President of Woodrow Wilson International Center for Scholars, and it's truly an honor and privilege for me to be here today to wish you extraordinary success on this, the 3rd anniversary of the founding of YaLa Young Leaders. I must say, looking back on the accomplishments of this organization in a short 3 years, I'm really profoundly moved by what you have managed to accomplish. An online peace academy, daily interactions among hundreds of thousands of young people from one end of the Middle East to the other. It's truly transformative in a way that I suspect the world will come to appreciate, but it's not easy. And let me tell you why it's not easy. Not to demoralize you, but to inspire you. A week or so before the Camp David Summit in July of 2000, I was one of the U.S. negotiators privileged to be there. I got a call from John Wallach, who was the founder of Seeds of Peace, an organization much like YaLa that brings young Arabs and Israelis, Indian and Pakistanis and Afghans into coexistence programming with a view toward doing what you do, to transform attitudes. Governments may be able to change the situation on the ground in conflicts, but people deliver peace. People change attitudes. And John came to me a week before the summit with a very emotional appeal. And his appeal was to have a delegation of young Israelis and Palestinians to come to the summit at Camp David, where President Clinton had invited Yasser Arafat and former Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Barak to what was supposed to be a conflict-ending summit to end the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. John appealed to me emotionally. He argued that you must do this because only young people had the moral authority to basically say to the leaders, let me remind you of the stakes. They're extraordinarily high. It's just not about you. It's about the future. And we are the future. I listened very patiently to John. He could be quite persuasive. But as I listened to him, I realized that I would never do what he wanted. Because what he wanted me to do at a time when we were busy preparing for this high-stakes summit, only the second in the history of American diplomacy, the first at Camp David with Jimmy Carter, Menachem Begin, and Anwar Sadat, what he wanted me to do, I would never do. Because I knew that if I went to the President of the United States, to Madeleine Albright, the Secretary of State, to Sandy Berger, the National Security Advisor, at a time when they were preparing for this summit, and I asked them to basically allow a delegation of young people, kids really, to make an appeal, that they wouldn't take me seriously. And that was a profound mistake, because it wasn't about kids. It's about the future. That was a very fateful summit, and whether or not young Israelis and Palestinians could have changed the minds of Yasser Arafat and Ehud Barak, I profoundly doubt. But it changed me. I went on to become president of Seeds of Peace for several years, and I saw with my own eyes the power of transformation. I understood what young people can do, what they meant, what they represented. And this is the challenge that you face, to convince the adult world, the ones that are here like me for only a short period of time, that in fact young people can make a difference. They do make a difference, and they need to be listened to. This story had a profound impact on me. I'll never make that same mistake again. Taking young people seriously is critically important because it means taking the future seriously. You have a tremendous challenge in front of you. Changing attitudes, changing perceptions and behaviors of those caught up in conflict is never easy. But my message to you is don't despair. Do not give in to the forces of cynicism and demoralization that could easily take hold of you. Keep fighting for what you believe in. You are extraordinary young leaders, and one day, over time, with enough courage, determination, and will, you will, in fact, change the face of this region in a way that will bring greater prosperity, greater security, and greater peace to everybody who lives there. Thank you so much, and good luck.
I am delighted to send greetings to all of you who have gathered in this virtual space to help shape the future of the Middle East. In 2011, millions of young people across the Middle East stood up to the status quo and demanded change. And today, the Middle East looks drastically different. Armed with conviction and aided by technology, you pushed forward the political, economic, and social changes that are now pulsing across the region. And your voices will continue to be invaluable in the process of brokering regional peace and having the kind of future that everyone hopes for. This conference is an opportunity for all of you, both Arab and Israeli, to engage in a dialogue about your shared future and about peace in the region, as well as your day-to-day problems, worries, and dreams. You come to the table with the hope that you can look past your differences and lay the foundation for peace. And I admire your resolve to engage in these very difficult discussions. I look forward to hearing your ideas, your perspectives, and your vision for the future that you seek as you work hand in hand to chart that course for a more peaceful and prosperous world. Thank you very much.